All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insanely Year 13, and today we are about to get underway for our 8th round of X League's Porsche Cup Series, and we are going to be going to one of the few tracks in this game that's actually located below the equator here at the Kylami circuit in South Africa. Real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the championship standings as they are right now, just so you have an idea where everyone stands in terms of the championship. For the team's championship, this is what it looks like. Chevrolet has 8 points, Porsche has 52 points, Ferrari has 54 points, BMW has 77 points, Aston Martin has 102, and Ford also has 102 points right now. In the Drivers' Championship, though, things are quite a bit different. So while the manufacturers, also known as the Team Championship, is really hot, Driver Championship is not nearly as hot. In 30th position is Octavio ZZ with 3 points. There's a tie for 28th between Titsuk and Eurodragon. They both have 5 points. 27th is Dolly Hubert with 7 points. There's a tie for 25th between Pip Central and Alpha Rose. They both have 9 points each. 24th is Ryu with 12 points. Savage is 23rd with 27 points. 22nd is Simply Clicks with 28 points. There's a tie for 20th between SSR Quinn and SPV Matthews. They both have 30 points. That also puts them in tie for 19th with Park, who also has 30 points. 18th is NWR Arcana with 33 points. 15th, 16th, 17th are all tied with 36 points each. That is Dex Perfect, Sir Brandy A1, and Indiel Shadow. 14th is Indiel Aedolis. He has 40 points. There's a tie for 11th between Les Railgun, VNX Runes, and Dex Carino. They all have 41 points and 1 win each. 10th is Blue Sky Dragon with 48 points. 9th is F Front Wheel Drive Jordy with 51 points. 8th is HGR Turtle with 57 points. 7th is Inlaid Wheat with 57 points. 6th is SRT Jeff DXD with 70 points. 5th is Savage 6647 with 75 points. Then you have this kind of fight that's developed for 2nd in the championship. 4th is Octavio ZZ with 90 points. Apparently that's separate from his P30 effort right now. 3rd is IRT Subaru with 102 points. 2nd is Pip Central with 104 points. Pip also has 1 win thus far this season. And leading the championship is Lil Kid Suave with 196 points. As it stands right now, Lil Kid Suave with a 92-point buffer really is just in a position that if he can just show up and keep scoring top 10 finishes, he should be able to lock up the championship with minimal issue. So again, keep an eye on Lil Kid Suave, simply because he's likely not going to be pushing really hard for any big, crazy results. He'll probably just be trying to hang out somewhere in the midfield most of the day and hope that he can bring home a decent enough result to maintain most of his championship lead. Again, his closest rival is Pip Central, and Pip Central qualified behind Lil Kid Suave coming into this race. Subaru is the other person to keep in memory, but only because he is someone else who is technically in the fight for 2nd in points, but he is not showing up today, so just be aware of that. One other thing to remember about the Porsche Cup Challenge, or the Porsche Cup Series in X League thus far this season. Oh, and Suave actually said in the chats that no, he's actually going to try and go for big points. So that's going to be interesting. He is interested in getting big points for the manufacturers. Not worried about the Drivers' Championship. He wants to get something for the manufacturer. So I guess keep an eye on him for different reasons. He may be a little bit aggressive. Other thing, this season, the Porsche Cup has been incredibly high in parity. We have not had a single repeat winner thus far this season. Is that going to change today? Are we going to get our first repeat winner? We have gone 7 races with a different winner each time. Is that finally going to change today as we prepare to get underway for our race proper? And real quickly, we do want to go ahead and give a shout out and a thanks to TCPP Photo for doing safety car duties for today's event, or pace car duties, I should say, but that car is labeled as safety car. Also at the back end of the grid, who's not really rolling off the line very much, is XR Monaco doing the other safety car duties today here. Real quickly, let's roll through the field as they are right now. Is F1R Geekin starting on the pole. He is going to be followed by Car Rebuilt, who is a newcomer to the series. After that is the Dex duo of Dex Twilight and Dex Carino. While they're both Dex drivers, they are running in different teams in this series. Row 3 will have Car Relamps and Manuel Pedro 548. After that will be Car Viniz and Dex Kilula. After that will be SPV Matthews and Lil Kid Suave, your championship leader. After that will be SPV Caesar and AFZ Miniero. After that is Pip Central and Mini G. Mini was going to enter this race as a free entrant, but got signed to a team last possible moment before practice started up earlier. After that, you'll have CLN Clinical and Kyle Sawyer, and then rounding out the last row of the field will be Savage, 6647, and IRT Mando. And that will be your 18 cars that will be taking the green here at Kylami. Laps here are going to be about 1:45 to 1:50 long. We've got a 40-lap race, so we're going to be here for quite a bit of time. Remember, there is some accelerated tire wear as well. I would anticipate 2 stops over the course of the race, and unlike Bathurst, you can actually make decent, reasonable passing here. I imagine we could see yellow flags still happen in the race, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as chaotic and messy as the Bathurst circuit tends to cause for these GT3 level cars. Pace car pulls off circuit and into pit lane now. We're going to keep our eye on F1R Geekin, your pole sitter, as he's going to enter the start-finish line straightaway with cars rebuilt on his outside. It's going to be 2 rows of 9 cars each as it comes to the start-finish line. Green flag, and we are underway here at Kylami. Immediately, we see him start finding out multiple cars wide. Looks like they're 4 wide here in the upper midfield, nearly 5 wide as they're coming down to the braking zone. Someone has to back out of it. Several people try back out of it, but still end up making some big contact. Still, it looks like everyone is roughly pointing the same way. No, there's not. There is somebody going around. 1 car is sideways. Lil Kid Suave, your championship leader, has gone off into the dirt, along with what looks like SPV Caesar, and your championship leader has fallen to second to last on track, just 1 corner in. But at the head of the field is F1R Geekin, who maintains his position over Cars Rebuilt is the Dex drivers 3rd and 4th, and Cars Relamps holds on to 5th, but Car Vinez has made his way up into 6th already after surviving that lap 1, turn 1 chaos. And everyone seems to have gotten away without too much issue, so now we stay green and get going. Big thing for the championship here, Pip Central doing everything he needs to try and put himself back in the driver's championship contention. He actually moved all the way up into 10th position, basically where Suave had started the event. So Pip Central doing small things, but still important things to try and keep himself alive in the Drivers' Championship fight right now. But Suave is making moves up the grid. He's already gotten up to 15th position. Next on his sights is going to be IRT Mando, who's only about half a second ahead of him, and that gap is rapidly dropping. Now the gap's only about 1 car length between these 2 Porsches. Again, remember, in this series, every single car has the exact same tune. So there's not going to be any big difference when it comes to car setup or handling. It's just going to come down to how well can the drivers adapt, how good is their adaptability level, and or does the tune agree with them and their driving style. Here comes Lil Kid Suave. He is on the inside of IRT Mando. Rebuilds went for the move, and we seem to have a yellow flag, actually. Yeah, it looks like we have a yellow. I'm not sure if it was because of that lap 1 incident or if it was because of something else. But we are under the yellow flag early on here, lap 1 at Kylami. So for drivers like Minnie and Kyle Sawyer, who had fallen back on lost touch with the lead of the field, this will negate most of that loss, and they will be right back up on the grid here. F1R Geekin is still your leader. We have only done 1 racing lap. I'll also be interested to see how long this yellow flag lasts as well, and if anyone decides to duck into pit lane. Real quick, let's look at the tire wear of our lead drivers here. 15% wear already for Rebuilds in second. For Geekin, who is your leader, he is at 15% as well. And then the Dex duo, Twilight, is at 15% wear. And Carino, just behind them, is at 16%. In fact, how far back are we going to have to go before we find someone who's not on what I believe are the soft tires? He's at 18%. Relamps is. What a Vin is. 20%. Matthews in 7th. 18%. Palula in 8th. 19%. Manuel Pedro. So it looks like Pedro here, with only 12% tires, is the first driver on a harder compound tire in the entire grid. Okay, is anyone in the lead going to go ahead and jump down pit lane here? And yes, F1R Geekin says, I'll take the hit and track position. He wants to go ahead and pit now. So he is going to get on a strategy offset. He is not the only one, but he's the only one in the top 2/3 of the field. Looks like Mini G and CL in Clinical are also going to go ahead and pit as well. Oh, there is damage on their cars. So it looks like Mini and Clinical had an accident that we missed, and that is what brought out the yellow flag here at Kylami. And at the head of the field is now going to be car rebuilt, but F1R Yeekin, your pole sitter, is now going to be way down in 16th place. While we are under the yellow flag here, we are going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break, and when we come back, we should see the field taking the green flag here at Kylami. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Kylami as we are about to go green flag. Once again, the entire field in single file formation, and it is Cars Rebuilds who's lead, but he did not get a good start. Here comes Dex Twilight, immediately looks to the inside. Rebuild shut the door amazingly well, but now the entirety of the front of the field is in chaos. Everyone is on alternate lines as they rush down to turn number 1. Big dive by Relapse around the outside. Dex Twilight. Twilight sideways. 2 other Porsches are sideways. That's another Porsche there. He spins out, and Twilight spins right in front of the field from the top of the grid, right in front of the field. He gets nailed in the left front corner panel. He's able to keep going for now, but he is plummeting through the grid once he's gotten the car pointed straight again. And now the car team, KAR, Relamps, Rebuilds, and Vidas now run first, second, and third on track. Relamps now is in the lead. Rebuild second, Vidas is third. But now we have to worry about Dex Twilight. Is there damage on that car? After he got turned and hooked, and yes, the front of that car is absolutely destroyed. I don't know how in the devil he's keeping that car on track with all the damage that that machine has right now. There's some action going on farther up the grid, and look at this, championship implications in play. Logan Suave back up to 11th, right in front of him is his closest rival in the championship, Pimp Central. If Suave can get by Pimp Central, he can try and make something happen, but here comes Geekin. Geekin is flying. Geekin is already by Suave. Pimp Central missed the corner. Geekin and Suave are both by Pimp Central. Geekin is now cracked the top 10 all over again with fresher tires. Dex Carino is the highest of the Dex drivers now, right in 4th spot, and Rebuilds and Reland are right on top of each other, having a bit of a spat at the head of the field right now. There's all sorts of madness going on all up and down the grid right now. Savage is now suddenly dropping down the grid. They are 3 wide as they come out of one of the heavier braking zones through that high-speed chicane. 2, 3 cars going to the dirt. Dex Kalula ducks into the pit lane, likely to repair damage for that lap 1 instant. It looks like we might still be green, I think. Yes, Dex Kalula has pitted, Dex Twilight's pitted, so 2 of the 3 Dex drivers have both taken damage in this restart incident here. Caesar, Geekin having some fighting right now, but Geekin on the inside is going to go right by, and now Geekin moves up into the 6th spot, but he is still 6.5 seconds off of the leaders. Dex Carino has gotten by Venice though, so Carino moves his machine up into the 3rd spot right now. And for the championship, Lil Kid Suave has secured 10th place, 1 spot ahead of Pip Central. There is another Porsche off track up ahead of him. I believe that was Caesar, as Matthews is going to go ahead and get by him. Pip Central looks to the inside of Lil Kid Suave, can't seem to do anything with them. It looks like Lil Kid Suave is going to be able to hold on to his position 10th for the moment right now. This is fine for Suave. If Suave can stay kind of mid-pack on track and keep Pip Central in his sights around him, he will be able to maintain most, if not all, of his championship lead. In fact, if they finish where they are right now, Suave would actually open up his championship lead just a little bit more. Back at the head of the field, Rebuilds is right behind Relamps as they start heading down the hill. They have Carino running about 1 1/3 seconds behind, with Vin is running right behind Carino right now. Relamps is just a little bit wide. Rebuilds looks to the outside, heavy under the brakes as they head into this tight right-hand. Looks like Relamps is doing everything he needs to keep Rebuilds behind. Now through this high-speed kink, how aggressively do you want to take that curb? Well, Rebuilds went all over the curb and was a little bit sideways coming off of it. F1R Geekin has now cracked the top 5. He's by Manuel Pedro, and SPV Matthews is ducking into the pits this time by as well now. F1R Geekin is still over 6 seconds off of the leaders. He has still got a gap of about 4 seconds between himself and 4th place KAR Viniz. But Geekin is making great work of these nice fresh tires right now, absolutely flying through the field at the moment. Rebuilt still looking right behind Relamps as they come up to the top of the hill here. Well, the top of turn 3 at least. It's not the top of the entire circuit. And now down this shorter back straightaway, not quite long enough to get a good overtaking spot in these higher downforce medium power cars that are these Porsche cars, these Porsche GT3 machines. Big slide from Relamps, and Rebuilds looks to his inside, but there's just no room there, at least not this time, not there. Lil Kid Suave and Pip Central are continuing their own fight on track for 10th and 11th as well right now. IRT Mando runs in 12th position, just a little bit behind. It looked like that was CLN Clinical who dropped tires in the dirt farther back there. Well, after a lap 1 incident, we had a yellow flag that lasted 2 laps. We went green immediately. 2 of the Dex drivers, Kalula and Twilight, had an accident on the restart, but we stayed green after that, and we are still running green at the current moment. F1R Geekin is about 4 to 4.5 seconds off from 4th place, about 6.5 seconds off from the leaders right now. But Geekin is now on a massive tire strategy offset as we speak. But we look at our leaders right now. It is still Relamps and Rebuilds at the front. 1, 2, with about 1/3 of a second between them. Relamps trying to take a moderately defensive line. He's not being super defensive, just moderately defensive. And then about 2 seconds off from them is the duo of Dex Carino and Viniz. But it doesn't look like there's as much fighting going on here. It looks like Carino is very slowly pulling away from Viniz as this goes on. So real quickly, we look at the tire wear of our top 5. 49, about to be 50% tire wear on Relamps for Rebuilds, who runs just a little bit behind. He's almost at 49% as well. Then you have Dex Carino, who's running 3rd. 47, 48%. He's doing a little bit better job balancing his tire wear. Vin is in 4th. 52%. Ooh, that's not going to be good for him whatsoever. And then F1R Geekin, who pitted on lap 2 under the yellow, he's only at 32%. He can go for quite a bit longer. Relamps dropped tires into the dirt just for a moment, and Rebuilds is right there. But Rebuilds does not seem to want to commit to any big aggressive moves right now on the circuit. As they start running downhill, they came over the highest point of the circuit and now rush downhill into one of the very few corners here where downforce actually matters. Relamps takes a little bit wider line. Rebuilds has a bit tighter line. And now they come down to the last 2 corners through this big high-speed kink. Rebuilds has a bit of a slide, drops 2 tires in the dirt on exit, but he's still there. Still, though, Relamps holds on to the lead. Real quickly, we change the ticker to show the penalties earned thus far, and ooh, this is not looking good whatsoever. Rebuilds 2 seconds worth of time penalties. Carino 1.2 seconds of time penalties. F1R Geekin already has earned 3.6 seconds of time penalties. Kalula down there in 15th has 1.3 seconds. Pip Central has 1.1 seconds. Low Kid Suave has 0.7 seconds. SPV Caesar also has half of a second of time penalties right now. So for Cars Rebuilds, yeah, sure, he's hanging right there behind Relamps, but those time penalties will be all it would take to keep him from actually being able to make the move and make such a move stick, I would imagine. The other thing as well is that Suave and Pip Central, the top two in the championship, both have penalties, but Suave not only has the advantage on track, he also has the time penalty advantage right now as well. Now it looks like Cars Venice just took a bit of a time penalty as well, as he is struggling to try and keep up with Carino, as Carino is running off into the distance, kind of stuck in no man's land. I think we'll see Geekin catch Venice very shortly here, as Relamps and Rebuilds comes to the top of the grid. And it looks like Dex Twilight has left in such a rough time after winning the race last week at Bathurst. Twilight has already pulled out of it. We're going to try and reach out to Twilight, see if they have anything they want to say about what happened in that accident or what took them out of the event. Carino is running down the duo of Relamps and Rebuilds. These two are getting a lot more punchy, a lot more aggressive with each other, and it looks like Relamps is going to pit, Carino's going to pit, but Rebuild says, screw this, I'll stay out a little longer. Venice pits as well. F1R Geekin is now going to move up into second position, and he's going to have a massive tire advantage here over Rebuilds. As they start lap 10, realistically, a 9th racing lap, already 60% tire wear for Rebuilds. I think the tires could normally only last about 9 laps, but we had 2 laps of yellow and then also the pace lap, so that's definitely helped extend the tire life just a little bit. But Rebuilds can only go about 9 to 10 laps on tires. Geekin, if it's the same thing, he has 2 extra laps in the bag, basically, of tire life. We're probably a little bit closer to 1 lap of tire life, but still, it could be big for Geekin. And this also is going to bump Manuel Pedro up into the 3rd position right now. And it looks like Kyle Sawyer has also left the event as well. We'll try to reach out to him and see if he has anything to say also. But now we're down to just 16 cars at the moment. Manuel Pedro, the highest of everyone running on the medium tires right now. And his tire wear is only at 42% at the moment. And then in 4th spot is Lil Kid Suave. And his tires are cooked. He's in the 62% range right now. Just for comparison, his rival in championship, Pit Central, went ahead and already committed to a pit stop. So they've got nice fresh rubber and can go for a while. It looks like a lot of drivers are going for softs as long as they possibly can, just maxing out the time on track on softs. They're saying, hey, I value lap time more than time spent in or out of pit lane, it would appear. And look at this cluster of cars. Matthew, Savage, Caesar, Miniero all seem to be right on top of each other, this little 4-car group, and Cars Rebuilds is able to stretch his tires out to 10 full laps before pitting. Most of his other rivals on track were only able to go 9, and that was with help from yellow flags. So we will now see F1R Geekin go into the lead as AFC Miniero got by SPV Caesar in the background there at the top of the mountain. And your pole sitter goes back to the top, F1R Geekin. He is on a slight strategy offset to the rest of the field. And then second place is Manuel Pedro, who is also on a unique strategy. His strategy is to run the harder tires early on. Now, he's already been passed and rapidly overtaken by Geekin, but I think that may have to do with the fact that Geekin is one of the faster drivers in the series. Arguably, he should have been the driver in Victory Circle last week at Bathurst in the Porsche Cup, but it did not work out for him at the end. CLN Clinical runs in the 3rd spot right now, 16 seconds behind the leader. I think Clinical's another driver. He pitted at the same time as Geekin. I believe he may have been involved in that accident on lap 1, if my memory serves correctly. So he has been been forced onto a alt strategy, probably not of his choosing, I would imagine. I don't think very many drivers would willingly choose to pit lap 1 or lap 2 for damage, but he is now locked on this alternate strategy, and he has Cars Relamps behind him. Interestingly enough, Dex Carino actually ended up getting over and ahead of Car Rebuilds, and now is setting his sights on Car Relamps. So Carino, who is the other driver who arguably should have won last week at Bathurst, Now looking at car relamps, and on the primary tire strategy, that would be the fight for the overall lead. Now, when does F1 Geekin go ahead and jump into pit lane? Well, it's not this lap. He's going to stay out a little bit longer. Savage is slow coming up the mountain, it seems. No damage. Oh, but he's almost out of fuel. He's down to just 1.2% fuel right now. What kind of catastrophe happened to Savage in the pits that would put him in this position? He's fighting aggressively with Little Kid Suave right now, but I don't know if Savage is aware that he's about to run out of fuel. Now, they should be close enough that Savage should be able to limp into the pit lane as CLN Clinical ducks into the pits now due to his tire wear. So now Car Relamps and Carino move up to 3rd and 4th on track. And yes, Savage will jump into the pits following CLN Clinical here. So it is Relamps and Carino in a bit of a stalking match for 3rd and 4th on track right now. They're running about 18 seconds off of the leader, F1R Geekin, right now. Geekin on an alternate strategy at the moment. Same with Manuel Pedro, who runs in 2nd position right now. But Geekin had a fantastic run going up through the field. Seemed like he could make passes at will all up and down the grid. And look at this. Top 2 in the championship, Suave and Pip Central, have found each other again. Now, they're both going to nip their way by SPV Caesar by the looks of it. Well, no, Suave did. Can Pip Central complete the overtake? There's a big dive in there, but he does. So Pip Central does get by. So Suave goes up to 9th, Pip up to 10th, or not. It looks like it looks like he'll hold on to it. Caesar could not make anything happen in that slower corner there. And finally, F1R Geekin pits on lap 12. So now the lead will cycle over to Manuel Pedro, the only driver, I believe, who started this race on the medium tires, running an alternate strategy. And now he goes into the lead of the event here. But his tires are at 55% wear right now. I imagine he'll pit at the end of the following lap. So it looks like the softer tires can go about 8 laps, maybe 9 if you get a lot of yellow. The medium tires seem to be able to go about 12 to 13 laps, and maybe an extra lap if you got a lot of yellow, if they did get some earlier. And F1R Geekin has... What happened to Geekin? Did he come back into the pit? No, he just finished his pit stop. Never mind. I forget how long the pit lane is, but yeah, F1R Geekin has completed his pit stop, and he's going to cycle out in 6th position, just behind Car Vin is. And mind you, Geekin has a positive tire delta over the top 5 right now. Carino's march forward seems to have stalled out about 1 second behind Relamps at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that because Carino closed in a lot in the in-lap and out-lap during the first round of stops. What will it be like in the second round of stops here? SPV Caesar seems to have continued to slide backwards through the grid. 8th place right now is AFZ Mini Arrow at the moment. He is trying to run away from his championship leader, Little Kid Suave, and just a little bit behind him is Pip Central right now. Then you also have F1R Geekin, who is closing in on Car Viniz, and Viniz just went off into the dirt going up the mountain. So now Geekin, as they come to the top of the circuit, he's now moved up to 5th position. Did not have to burn up his tires or lap time trying to fight. The driver ahead just went off, and Geekin's like, okay, I'll take that, thank you very much. So F1R Geekin moves into 5th position on track. He is 11.5 seconds off of the leader right now. And speaking of the leader, Manuel Pedro jumping into the pits this time by. So the lead is now going to go back to Car Relamps here, who has roughly 8 seconds over Geekin and about 1.25 seconds to 1.5 seconds over Dex Carino right now. And then 3rd place will go to Car Rebuilds here. So the KAR drivers out with vengeance, out with force here at Kylami. We had one accident, a multi-car accident in turn 1 and 2. On the very first lap, had a yellow flag. Then we had another accident on the restart, but that one didn't bring a yellow flag, and we've been clean and green since then, although we have seen plenty of drivers slide it off into the dirt, like Rebuilds just did there. Real quickly, let's look at the penalties, though. Well, now as this race is going on, the penalties are starting to show up for everyone. Manuel Pedro has no penalties, and neither does Car Relamps. But Dex Carino now has 1.2 seconds, Car Rebuilds 2.1. F1R Geekin holding steady at 3.6, but that's still the second highest of everyone in the grid. Venez has 0.8 seconds. Matthews has 0.9, Miniero has 0.8, Lil Kid Suave has 1.5, SPV Caesar has 2.7, Pip Central 1.1 seconds, Clinical 0.7 of a time penalty, IRT Mando 0.5 of a time penalty, Savage 2.3, and Dex Kalula currently has the most penalties of everyone with 4.3 seconds. Mini G also has no penalties thus far in the race. And it looks like most of the field is starting to spread out a bit, but Lil Kid Suave has closed in on AFZ Miniero. So your championship leader trying to make his way up through the grid. He wants to get some solid points today. And his closest rival in the Drivers' Championship, Pip Central, runs about 4 seconds behind him. So it does seem like between Suave and Pip Central, Suave has the advantage. Now, Pip Central is also in a three-way fight for second in the championship, so he's not doing too bad in that battle as well. Mind you, most of the drivers up near the top of this grid, they are not full-time riders in the Porsche Cup Series. They don't run here every single week. In fact, I think none of the car drivers have run the Porsche Cup before today. I think Geegan's only done Bathurst today as well. So yeah, most of the drivers in the top 5 are not prolonged season-long runners in the Porsche Cup right now. So while it seems crazy that I'm talking a lot about a 9th place runner, realistically, it's closer to the 4th place runner, because I would imagine under normal circumstances, you would be looking at Matthews, Pedro, Miniero, and Suave being the top 4, with Pip Central running in 5th. But we have so many drivers doing a part-time showcase right now at the head of the field, it's kind of skewed the way things are looking right now. Pip Central has now fallen about 4.5, nearly 5 seconds out from Lil Kid Suave, as Suave is hounding Miniero here for 8th position on track. And Pip Central, to be fair, is also in their own fight with SPV Caesar and CLN Clinical. As we ride on board Clinical, look at this. Central and Caesar side by side. They run down into the valley. Clinical has nowhere to go. Caesar has a run to the outside of Pip Central, but you can't really make the outside overtake work at the top of the mountain. And Caesar's gone ghost mode. Caesar has gone ghost mode. Has something gone wrong with Caesar? Caesar has gone ghost mode, and now he's pulled off circuit into the dirt. Slow, he's spinning, and Caesar is now backwards on track. Now he gets pointed the right way again, but what is going on with SPV Caesar? SPV Matthews goes ahead and pits out of the 6th position. We're likely going to be closing in on pit stops again momentarily here. Let's see what the tire life looks like for everyone at the front. 47% tire wear right now for car relamps. For Carino, who runs in 2nd, it is 46%. Car rebuilds back here in 3rd. He is at 40%. So he's doing he did pit a lap later, mind you. Then you have F1 Argeekid in 4th place, who's got a 2-lap offset. He's only at 26% wear. Then Carvin is back here in 5th position. He's at 48% wear. And then Manuel Pedro, who ran the first stint of the race on the medium tires, he's at 11% right now. Like he threw on the softs now to try and pick up some pace. So Pedro's kind of in no man's land right now, just burning off clean laps all on his own. And then you get this stalking battle between AFZ Miniero and Lil Kid Suave, fighting for 6th and 7th positions right now. Mini G went ahead and jumped into the pit lane this time by as well. And if he doesn't get out of pit lane soon, he'll likely be the first driver to go a lap down here. Oh, Car Relamps is pitting. Dax Carino was going to pit, so this might give the lead over to Car Rebuilds. No, Rebuilds is not pushing the issue. Car Rebuilds is going to pit at the same time as Relamps and Carino, so this should put F1 Argeekid into the lead once again here at Kylami. And Geekin continues to just click off laps in nice, clean, green air right now. Now, Geekin's tire life is currently at 30%. So he can stay out here for quite some time before he starts having some serious tire fall off here. The other driver who should, in theory, benefit from this would be Manuel Pedro. But Pedro is not anywhere close to those drivers who just came out. Well, I take it back. He got by car rebuilds. He can see Carino up ahead, and Carino can see relams. This is where Carino made up a bunch of time earlier, but here comes Manuel Pedro. Pedro's got nice warm tires. Pip Central is pitting. CLN Clinical is pitting. Dex Kalula is pitting as well, but it looks like Manuel Pedro has caught Carino, and Carino has caught relams. It is a three-way fight for this position by the looks of it. And we may have just had another driver disconnect here. Yes, it looks like SPV Caesar has suddenly disconnected. We'll try to reach out to him, and we have a caution. Just after a bunch of drivers pitted. Oh, and this is going to be awful for F1R Geekin. Geekins did not want to see a yellow flag now. He had opened up such a solid gap. If the yellow flag came a lap earlier, it wouldn't have been a problem, or if it came 2 laps later, it wouldn't have been a problem, but a yellow flag now just wipes out all of the gap that Geekin had on the rest of the field. This also really does big things for saving Mini here, and the pace car is letting the leaders by, apparently. All right, will you say that again? Oh, got it. All right, so apologies. I have you on mute most of the time because there's an awful echo through your mic. So, all right. Well, we just got word that what happened apparently is that the pace car picked up the wrong driver. The pace car picked up Car Viniz. So F1R Geekin continued to turn laps. It's going to take a little bit longer for the pace car to catch the leader of F1R Geekin, and it looks like Viniz went ahead and jumped into pit lane under this yellow flag and is going to maintain second position. So he just got a free pit stop. F1R Geekin still at the head of the field, has not yet caught the pace car, I imagine. So I imagine right now, Geekin is going to do everything he can. He's going to be pushing hard, trying to open up the gap as much as possible so he can try and get a free pit stop out of this. Can Geekin make that stick, though? That is the question. Dex Carino is about 29 seconds behind Geekin at the moment. Where is the pace car of TCPP Photo? And here's your answer. The pace car is coming down into the final corner now, and CLN Clinical has now left the event. So the pace car still has not picked up Geekin, and Geekin will be in a fantastic position. He's got 28 seconds on second spot. He should be able to duck into pit lane, and when he comes out, I imagine he'll be still running in the top 6 or 7 or so. All right, coming in the party right now is CLN Clinical. Clinical, can you hear me? Can you include your audio in the Xbox party?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, cool. Clinical, early disconnect. What took you out of the race?
Nah, I quit out. I don't think anybody was listening to the pace car. I seen Photo. I almost hit Photo, actually. And then everybody was just bypassing him. I didn't know what was going on. Like, it was just utter confusion right there.
So basically you left because you felt that, yeah, you know what, fair enough. Do you have anything to say about what went down on lap 1, since I believe you were in the middle of the mess on lap 1?
I have no idea. Everybody just checked up. I don't know what actually happened right there. I know under the caution, I got hit from behind and got completely destroyed. So I don't know who did that. I'll have to go back and watch your stream.
I did not catch it. I did not catch it happening, sadly.
Yeah,
so.
I wasn't streaming. My streaming stuff has been messed up here lately. If I stream, it makes me lag. So I just didn't do it today.
All right, frustration. Do we think we'll see you back in a week's time for the next race for the Porsche Cup?
Yeah, I'll give it another shot, but if it's going to be like this, probably not.
All right, well, hopefully things are a little bit better and, a little bit better organized going into next week's event. But thanks for jumping in and talking with us, mate.
Yeah, man. No problem. Always a pleasure.
All right. We are still under the yellow flag here at Kylami. Geekin has finally been picked up by the pace car. He chose not to pit, though, interestingly enough, but most of the drivers behind him have already pitted. So Geekin has lost all of his advantage. The only thing I could see Geekin maybe do is pit this time by so he can try to regain what was basically a tire life advantage. But I don't know if that's going to work. And again, Geekin, while there are now fewer cars on track, Geekin would still have to fight his way up through the grid, and that's not something I would want to have to do if I was in his position. But we are under our second yellow flag of the day. Sadly, it was another incident that we ended up missing here on track. But we are under our second yellow flag of the day, just a little bit before this race's halfway point here at Kylami. Is F1R Geekin, arguably the fastest, or at least one of the fastest drivers all day, going to pit this time by? And yes, the answer is he will pit. He's not the only one. It looks like Manuel Pedro was abandoning his alternate strategy. He'll be pitting this time. So will SPV Matthews. Lil Kid Suave also pitted the last time by while we were doing those interviews as well. So Suave has already gotten his pit stop knocked out. So this now puts Car Relamps back at the head of the field here at Kylami. We're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break, and when we come back, we should be seeing the field go to the green here at Kylami. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kylami. Mini G is going to be very angry as he is still about half a lap down, but it does not matter. The field is going to be coming to the green flag. This time by is going to be Car Relamps, Dax Carino, Car Venice, and Car Rebuilds, along with AMZ Mini Aero. That'll be your top 5. Your championship leader, Lil Kid Suave, is in 6th, Pip Central is 7th, and keep an eye on F1R Geekin, who is back down in 11th position on slightly fresher tires than the rest of the field as they come out of the final corner, coming to the green flag to start the 21st lap here at Kylami. Carino had an absolutely atrocious start that time, but the draft is pulling him back in the fray, but they're already fanning out 2 and 3 wide farther back. Rebuild, Kilula, Mini Aero, all sorts of drivers going for moves here. Was that Rebuilds? That was Rebuilds who tried to make it go 3 wide. He's going to get pushed wide back there by one of the Dex cars in the process, but this time it looks like everyone finally made it up the hill without any damage this time by. And Carino actually got by Relamps. You just barely saw him the edge of the feature of the circuit there, but Carino has made it work. Carino didn't go for the move in turn 1. He did it in the switch back between turns 2 and 3, and Dex Carino now goes to the lead here at Kylami. One of Geekin. Geekin is already up into the 6th spot. Immediately he is putting pressure on Dex Kalula. Kalula is having contact with Venice. Geekin backs out of it. Venice is still wide. There's another Porsche that's sliding out of control farther back on the circuit. I think that may have been Mini Aero. Yes, it is Mini Aero, who's now going to fall back to the 13th spot. There are still cars all over the place. Geekin has a fantastic run. He door checks Kalula, gets alongside Venice now as they come up to the top of the mountain. That's Savage who's off circuit further back there. Geekin wraps it around the long way around and very nearly gets hooked as Venice gets pushed wide by Kalula. But Geekin is now up into the 4th position, now only 2.5 seconds off of the lead. And Carino is rushing off in the distance as Relapse and Rebuilds are back to fighting for the second and third spots on the track. And the longer these two fight, the better it's going to be for F1R Geekin, who will let him really run them down. And again, Geekin pitted relatively late in the yellow flag. Now granted, under the yellow flag, you're not burning up your tires as much, but Geekin still likely is going to have a one-lap positive tire delta, and I imagine he's going to try and milk that for all it's worth right now. Manuel Pedro and Little Kid Suave are having a little bit of a scuffle as well here in the middle of the field with Dex Kalula, Pip Central. Once again, Pip Central has actually gotten back ahead of Little Kid Suave, and now the lights turn on as the sun is starting to set here at Kylami. The track temperatures are going to start cooling off. It's going to be a lot harder to keep temperature in the tires here as this goes on. Suave behind Kalula. Dex Kalula is now going to get by Pip Central, and now here comes Little Kid Suave on his title rival Pip Central. These two can't seem to get away from each other, but the thing is that Pip Central needs to be finishing 5, 6, 7 positions ahead of Suave if he wants to make any serious headway in the Drivers' Championship. Otherwise, if it just finishes like this with Central and Suave right on top of each other, it's not really a problem for Suave. He's going to maintain the vast majority of his championship lead. A championship lead that was over 90 points coming into today's race. Rebuilds has gotten away from Relapse, and now Relapse is slipping backwards just a bit. He's going to be caught by F1R Geekin for third position very shortly here, I imagine. Suave now has Manuel Pedro back behind him, looking to try and make something happen once again. Pip Central runs behind Dex Kalula. Ooh, Pip is a little bit wide there at the top of the mountain, and that's going to bring Little Kid Suave back into the fray as they race downhill into one of only, I would argue, 2 downforce-focused corners on the circuit. Side by side up ahead, one of those Porsches went off circuit just briefly going through that corner, and here comes the move to the inside by Suave. Suave and Pip Central side by side as they come out of the corner, but it will be Pip Central who gets it for the moment. Suave runs right behind. All these drivers still on just not quite a straight line with each other between the last 2 corners. Now as they come out of the final corner and down the front straightaway, the longest straightaway on the circuit once again, Little Kid Suave has a draft on Central, but Manuel Pedro has an even bigger draft on Suave. Does Pedro try to do anything? It looks like he's going to be wide enough to not go for any heroics this time by. Car Relapse has already been overtaken now by F1R Geekin. Geekin is still 2.5 seconds off of the lead, but the lead is not a car driver. It is now Dex Carino at the head of the field. So 2 of the drivers who arguably should have been fighting for, who should have been right there in the victory circle at the end of the race at Bathurst, excuse me, but 2 of the drivers who arguably should have been right at the head of the field and winning back at Bathurst, Carino and Geekin, they're both having relatively strong runs now as the day is giving way tonight here at Kylami. It could be a fight between the 2 of them off the back of tire strategy and track position. Well, of the 18 cars that started this race, 14 of them are still running at the moment. Right now, all of them are still on the lead lap, but in the case of Mini in 14th, it's just barely still on the lead lap right now. Once again, I want to look at the fight for 7th as Little Kid Suave continues to harass Pip Central, and they now have Car Venice just ahead of them. Venice has just been sliding backwards through the grid. His tires are at 27% wear. I almost wonder if he's put on, a harder set of tires to try and go longer here and let the race come back to him, because he has no pace whatsoever. Here comes the move. Suave to the inside of Pip. Pip's going to throw a bit of a block. Now Suave looks to the outside. Pip throws another block. Suave looks back to the inside. He'll go deep under braking, side by side between the top 2 in the championship, and Suave gets him in turn 1. He slides a little bit wide, tries to slide job him, and that's going to hold Pip up and now leave him exposed to Manuel Pedro right behind. Pedro gets right behind the 103 of Pip, but can't get alongside of him as they come out of turn number 3. And now down this slightly shorter straightaway into the other downforce focused corner here. A decreasing radius corner, and then it's a real short run into a near 90-degree left-hander, and Manuel Pedro gets to the inside of Pip. There's contact. Pip's a little wide. There's door checking between the 2 of them. Pip drops tires into the dirt. He's still on the outside of Manuel Pedro. Now they go down into this little valley. Pedro shoots by, and it's Matthews who follows suit. Pip Central falls back to 10th position now. Great news for Little Kid Suave. He is now in 7th position and can start putting pressure on Car Venice for 6th. Dex Kalula runs in 5th position, so while we only have 2 Dex drivers still running at the moment, they're both in the top 5 right now. Little Kid Suave looking at the inside of Car Venice, not going to be able to make it work as they run down the mountain. And now into this heavy braking zone, Suave looks to the outside. He's going to try to cross over on corner exit. Easy overtake. Suave clears Car Venice with no issue whatsoever. Move your championship leader, Little Kid Suave, up into the 6th position on track now. Although he goes big over the curb, and that second to last corner has a big slide, but he'll keep it on track for the moment. At the front, Dex Carino has a 1.1 second lead over Car Rebuilds. F1R Geekin is 2.3 seconds out from Dex Carino right now. But remember, Geekin has a slight tire advantage. It's not as big as it was earlier, but he does have a slight tire advantage right now. So we think the fight's going to be between Carino and Rebuilds on the main strategy and Geekin on a slightly alternate strategy here. Running back uphill. So we look at Little Kid Suave, but I think he's going to be in clean air from now until he pits. This is farther back here. This is Pip Central and SPV Matthews just behind him. Pip Central has gotten back to 9th right now, but Manuel Pedro is way past him, and SPV Matthews is absolutely harassing Pip Central at the moment. Pip really widened the quarters. SPV Matthews not quite close enough to really capitalize on that opportunity, though. They say just about nose tail. Here's the move. Matthews goes for a big dive bomb on Pip Central. Pip was not prepared for it at all. Are we back under the yellow? All of a sudden, there's been a bunch of backing up from about 6th on back. Little Kid Suave has fallen behind Manuel Pedro as well. These drivers all look like they're still going full bore, but I think Suave may have had an issue that dropped them behind Venice and Manuel Pedro. So Venice now is back up into the 6th position. Reminder, Venice is on a harder compound tire trying to make an alternate strategy work. Carino and Rebuilds pay now the top 2 positions right now. Will Geekin join them, or is Geekin going to stay out? Geekin will stay out, so will Car Relapse in 4th. Dex Kalula is going to pit now. So here's the real question. Are any of those drivers who have been fighting for a lead, Carino, Rebuilds, and Kalula, are any of them going to end up in the middle of this big glut of cars coming around the final corner right now? Savage, farther down the grid, is also going to go ahead and jump into pit lane this time by as well. All right, so Vin is now up into the 3rd position. And it looks like Carino is going to still maintain his lead over Car Rebuilds after the pit stops are over. So Carino maintains his spot at the top of the field now. But there is a fight going on for 3rd. Viniz has it. Manuel Pedro wants it. And that is the lap car of Mini G just ahead of them. Now, there should be blue flags deployed to let them know, hey, there are faster drivers behind. So Geekin leads over Car Relapse right now. Relapse in 2nd position, running some absolutely cooked tires at the moment. Well, they're not nearly as cooked as I thought. He's only at 43% wear. He might be on mediums, and I may not have realized it. Geekin is your leader right now. He's at 49% worn tires. He's likely going to pit in the next lap or 2. Manuel Pedro runs in 4th. Looks like Viniz has opened up the gap on him just a little bit. Little Kid Suave runs right behind Manuel Pedro now. Traffic holding up Viniz just a bit. And now Mini G is going to pull, or try to pull off the ideal line to let Manuel Pedro by. Can't really do it in that corner. It's really a single lane corner. And now here we are. We see him go really wide. Here comes your championship leader, Suave. Suave puts the bumper to Pedro. Pedro's not worried about it at all. He keeps the power down and keeps it rolling. Pip Central now ducks into the pit lane. He's got to do anything to get off sequence with Suave to try and make something happen in the championship fight. Coming down the straightaway, Pedro holds on to 4th position. Suave is still right there in 5th. Running in his draft as they go down the longest straightaway here on track. Central pitted, Mini Aero pitted, and IRT Mando all elected to pit that time by. About 17 laps left in the event. You could probably take it to the end if you did a stint on mediums and then a stint on the soft tires. Again, assuming the soft tires last about 8 laps. I think F1R Geekin may be in a fantastic position. If we stay green to the end, he could easily throw on soft tires to the end and not worry about as much tire fall off. Pedro still being harassed by little kid Suave, and Suave himself has Matthews behind him. And there you are, Pedro dropped tires in the dirt. Suave's just not quite close enough to capitalize, it seems. Yeah, Vinez has rushed off into the distance. I think the tire life has definitely swung back into Car Vinez and Car Relamp's favors right now. And here comes Matthews to the inside of Suave. Suave is going to cross him over as they come to the top of the mountain. That was a good dive bomb by Matthews, but Suave is wide to this sort of thing. Just did a nice little crossover and maintained 5th spot, but in the process, that's let Pedro open up a gap on them now. But Suave up here running the top 5 on track right now. And now your championship leader, Little Kid Suave, is going to pit with 15 laps to go. So he could probably throw on soft tires, run about 8 laps on softs, and throw on another soft tires and make it to the end without issue. I look at our leader, F1R Geekin, right now, who is about 6 seconds ahead of Car Relamps. He's at 60%, 61% tire wear on those rears. But he's going to have some good tires to the end, I'd imagine. Car Relamps runs in 2nd position. I believe he is still on the medium tires. He's only at 50% wear. Could either Car Relamps or Car Vinez make it to the end on only one more stop by throwing on the mediums? They would be significantly slower on track, and their tires will still have a lot of fall off, but they'd be cutting out an entire pit stop to the end. Carino also is back there, running in 6th spot in clean air at the moment. He is leading on the main strategy. Then Relamps and Vinez are on a medium tire focused strategy. Geekin is on a mutation of the main strategy that keeps him on the soft tires longer and with less fall off to the end. I think Geekin is in the catbird seat, but Relamps or Vinez may have something to say with it. And again, if there's a yellow flag at a good timing, we could see Carino really be the beneficiary of it all. He's already shown himself to be pretty good on the starts and restarts when he really puts his mind to it here. After pitting, Little Kid Suave is still 5 seconds ahead of Pip Central. They're 9th and 10th on track, but that is a 5-second gap, and F1R Geekin finally pits. So with 14 laps to go, Geekin has made a stop. Now, with 14 laps to go, I don't think that's enough to get to the end on medium tires. I think Geekin's probably going to go ahead and go soft. Matthews is also going to pit out 5th spot. So now, Car Relamps goes into the lead. We look at his tires, he is at 55% wear with 8% left in the tank. I think if he stays out for 2 more laps, he can go ahead, pit, throw on medium tires, and not worry about pitting again. Geekin will have to pit again one way or another. He is 23 seconds behind the leader right now. We're likely going to see that gap continue to open up here, I imagine. Well, no, now it says he's only 16 seconds back. Okay. 17 and... Dex Kalula has gotten by Matthews. What about Little Kid Suave? Is he going to be able to get by Matthews? Yes, Suave gets by Matthews. So Suave, by virtue of paying a lap earlier than Matthews, clears Matthews by a pretty significant amount. Also, Pip Central is going to go ahead, and he's fighting with AZ Miniero and Savage. So these three are all back into a little 3-way fight with each other here as they dive into turn number 1. Pip Central has the position right now, side by side behind, and Savage throws the car up there, completely sideways, drifting, briefly gets by Miniero. And now Savage gets into it with Pip and forces Pip just a little wide. Both of them all sorts of sideways. Pip sliding all across the circuit, trying to keep the car under him. Miniero gets back alongside Savage. Neck and neck between Miniero and Savage. And it looks like Savage's got it over Miniero. So now the question is, how much longer does Relamps and Vinez stay out here to try and make their medium tire focus strategy work? Right now, Deck Carino runs in the 4th position on track. Is it all going to fall apart for him again on tire strategy? It was partially tire strategy, but also being turned. It wasn't an intentional turning. I do want to apologize for what I did say last week. I made it sound like it was an intentional accident. It was not an intentional wreck that happened to Carino. There's a bit of a lag up ahead. The leaders all checked up, and Carino ended up getting just dumped because everyone checked up. It could have happened to anyone by anyone. but that put Carino on a tire strategy and track position offset they just could not make up to the end. That's what's going to happen to Carino again here in these closing laps at Kylami. Geekin only runs 4 seconds behind Carino at the moment. Manuel Pedro has just about caught Viniz once again. Pedro, though, is at 50% tire wear. And we have a caution. Once again, with 13 laps to go, we have a caution. Oh, and that is going to upend everything. Yeah, the pace car is rolling. We have a caution once again here. And as the leaders come to the line, it will be with 13 laps to go. Who's gonna be able to pit? Does this work out in the favor of relamps for Viniz? If you pit under the safety car, you could throw on medium tires, not worry about tire wear to the end of the race. Or you could try and make your pit stop as late as possible under this yellow and throw on the soft tires and hope that the speed is enough to get you ahead of the medium tire runners. I don't know what the strategy is, but here comes Car Relamps, your leader. He has a big drift in the second to last corner, but he's going to jump into the pit lane. As the yellow flag is out, Viniz is going to jump into the pit lane as well. Manuel Pedro is going to stay out. Dex Carino is going to pit. What of F1R Geekin? Arguably one of the fastest drivers today. Is he going to stay out? He is! Geekin is going to stay out. What of Dex Kalula back here at 7th, as it looks like Car Rebuilds is going to go ahead and make a pit stop as well. Kalula is going to stay out. So Manuel Pedro, for the second time today, goes into the lead, and F1R Geekin is now going to be second. But we still have 13 laps to go. This is going to get wacky. And after pitting, Car Relamps only fell to 4th place on track. Car Viniz only fell to 6th. Dex Carino is going to be 5th, just ahead of Viniz right now. So I imagine all these drivers who pitted now, they probably threw on the medium tires, knowing that medium tires will take them to the end. They will not have to pit. The other drivers on track ahead of them will have to pit in some way or another. Savage is pitted, IRT Mando is pitted, Mini G has pitted. Also, Lil Kid Suave is now back up into the 5th position. He has not yet made his stop. And this yellow flag is going to take a long, long time simply because of how spread out the field is. So we're going to go ahead and take a Twitch-mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Kylami. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Kylami. 12 laps to go, and all the drivers who did not pit last lap have jumped into the pits this time by, led by Manuel Pedro, but this has actually put Car Relamps back at the head of the field with Dex Carino in 2nd, Car Viniz in 3rd, Car Rebuilds in 4th, and like I said, Manuel Pedro is going to be 5th. But this is really going to make things weird because these drivers now have a one lap positive delta on tire life. And if they're on mediums, I think the mediums can last you 12 laps. 13 laps is pushing it a bit, but 12 laps should be a little bit easier. So these drivers who pitted 1 lap later, the likes of Pedro and Geekin, may have a slight advantage if they threw on mediums. We do not know. One or more of these drivers could have chosen to throw it on softs and go for sheer pace to the end, then try to make a quick pit stop and run it away afterwards. But I don't imagine that would be the way to go right now. The field is all gathering together right now here. And we'll be going green with about 11 laps to go, actually. I think we're going green this time, at least. Everyone except for Mando and Savage is just about caught the field. Oh, Pedro ends up in a little bit of a traffic jam there. No damage to his car. Is there any damage to Geekin, who ran to the back of him? No signs of damage to him either. So IRT, Mando, and Savage has just about caught the rear of the grid now. Are we going to go green this time by? That is the question. Or is there going to be another lap under the safety car? Every extra lap under the safety car helps the drivers like Relams, Carino, Viniz, and Rebuilds, drivers who pitted a lap earlier. It means that they're not burning their tires up as much. So they'd love to see the safety car stay out an extra lap if possible. And yes, it does look like the safety car is staying out one lap longer. Does anyone else pit this time by? No, looks like the entire field is going to stay on track, so no one pits this time by. Now is 11 laps to go, so when we take the green flag, it will be 10 laps to go here at Kylami. We are under our third yellow flag of the day. Unlike what happened back at Bathurst, where we were able to actually catch and see most of the instances that happened, every single accident that's not been on the start or a restart has been completely missed by us. I do apologize for that fact, but sadly that is how it has gone throughout the run today. Now it looks like they're letting Mini go ahead and rush through the field to try and get his lap back. Thing is, you spend so much time in low speed here at Kylami, even when you're going full bore, that it's unlikely that Mini's going to even come close to getting half of his lap back. But any gap he can open up now will help him out. It will give him more of a chance to stand the lead lap. And if, heaven forbid, we have another yellow flag, he would be able to cycle right back up to the rear of the grid. So real quickly, looking at tire wear right now of our top 6. 9% wear already for car relamps. For second place, Dex Carino, 9% wear. For car Viniz in third place, 11% wear on the rears. For Rebuilds, who slipped back to 4th after fighting for a lead earlier, he's at 10% wear. For Manuel Pedro, who pitted an entire lap later, only 6% wear, just about 7. And F1R Geekin, who is just behind Manuel Pedro, 6.7% wear. Then for our championship contenders, our championship leader, Lil Kid Suave, runs 8th right now. He is at 6.8% wear. His rival in the championship, Pip Central, has slipped back to 11th right now. He is at 7% wear at the moment. And we should be going green this time by, I imagine. And yep, pace car pulls off this time by. So I imagine the majority, if not everyone in the field, is going to be on medium tires to the end. But how long can you make the mediums last? 12 laps should be possible. Can you make it last 13 laps with a little bit of help under the yellow flag? We're about to find out. As Relams leads them to the green flag, we are underway once again here at Kylami. Immediately, it's spreading out 3 and 4 wide farther back, and Rebuilds going around the outside is going to get by Viniz. Rebuilds gets up to the 3rd position. Relams is doing very aggressive blocking against Carino. Is he going to be able to make the corner? He's wide. He gets hit from behind by Rebuilds. Carino is right there. Can Carino steal the lead in turns 2 and 3? He's side by side with Relams as he go into turn number 3. Carino is on the ideal inside line. Can he make it stick? He does! Carino back into the lead here! And Car's driver is running 2nd and 3rd, and Manuel Pedro is 4th. F1R Geekin has not made any positions up. He is still in 6th position right now, but Manuel Pedro has made his way up to the 4th spot now. Man, Pedro has been fighting with absolutely everyone all day today. Car Relams now runs right behind Rebuilds here. That's Rebuilds running behind Relams. I got them confused. I apologize. And now Relams tries to close back in on Carino. And the word is that there's been another yellow flag right away. We're not sure what the reasoning is, but it seems like we may have had another yellow flag here. So the pace of the race will slow down once again, and the one driver this really benefits will be Mini G. He gets his lap back and will now cycle to the rear of the grid. And if anyone wants to, they could go ahead, jump into pit lane, try to throw on some soft tires, and use a sheer pace advantage to steal a win here. So this race has been just as chaotic and just as messy as the one that we had at Bathurst. But Carino, once again, absolutely on top of it on the restarts. F1R Geekin only made up one spot, only went from 6th to 5th in that one lap. And with these extra laps under yellow, I imagine that the tire life difference is not going to be that big now. It's likely not really going to have any significant impact. So as we wait for the entire field to gather up here, Mini is going to be kind of the cork in the bottle. The longer it takes for Mini to catch the rear of the grid, the longer this yellow flag is going to be. Yeah, it's going to be 8 laps to go as it comes to the line this time by. If you're, well, anyone in this field, I would imagine the best thing to do is to jump into pit lane now and throw on the soft tires. We're now down to just a 13 to 14 car field. So with soft tires, you should probably be able to make your way through the entire grid on fresh softs compared to everyone else's worn mediums. If anyone tries to stay out, I imagine it would just be an awful strategy. You have to come in and throw on some soft tires because the tire advantage is just going to be so massive here. Don't have to worry about getting any more fuel in the car. That's the other thing. Any drivers who may be slightly underfilled will not have to worry about that and would actually have a slight advantage in terms of weight in the car now. All right, coming down to the last 2 corners, who is going to pit? The entire field still on the lead lap right now, although Mini G still has a long way to go before he catches up to the rear of the grid. Does anyone pit this time by? Oh, pace car's coming in. Pace car, all right, this is only a 1 lap yellow, I guess. We're gonna go green right away. F1R Geekin is pitting. Geekin must not have got the word. That's gonna take Geekin out of contention because the rest of the field's gonna open up a big gap. Geekin may have fresh tires, but he's gonna be like 18 seconds behind the leaders. Here we come. Green flag in the air once again at Kylami. Immediately Carino has a big block against Relapse and nearly squeezes Relapse into the left side wall. Here comes Manuel Pedro. Here comes Rebuilds. Rebuilds trying to make something happen. Here's Kalula. Kalula's gonna make it 4 wide. They were 4 wide for a lead briefly under braking. Can the entire field make it through turns 1, 2, and 3 without a spin? That looks like they will. Vintage slips back to 5th. Rebuilds to 4th. Relapse to 6th. Kalula is now up in the 2nd. Fight with Car Rebuilds and Manuel Pedro. Pedro's trying to make something happen, and now Carino is scooting off in the distance. F1R Geekin is 18 seconds out of the lead now. His shot this race is likely over. Same thing with Mini. Mini did not get a chance to get all of his lap back, although I do think that Mini will be far enough ahead of the field now that he does not have to worry about going a lap down. Also, tire wear may still have some effect, but now would be Manuel Pedro who would be the biggest beneficiary when it comes to tire life. But Dex Kalula, who has been running mid to rear of the grid most of the day today, all of a sudden now finds himself up in the 2nd spot. Manuel Pedro is being absolutely swarmed by the entirety of the car class, and he is holding them off. Manuel Pedro is driving like a Superman right now, driving like a Super Saiyan, holding up 3 drivers who had all been faster than him for most of the day today. SPV Matthews is back there in 7th as well. Also, Little Kid Suave is holding on to 8th, trying to stay ahead of Savage and our team Mando. And that was, I believe, Mando who just went deep into the dirt right there. He's not going to lose any big time, though. Big slide farther back. Oh, this has gone absolutely mad, but Kalula now trying to hold off Car Rebuilds in a fight for 2nd and 3rd on the podium. Dex Carino is trying to scoot away with the lead right now. Real quickly, let's go ahead and look at the time penalties because that's going to be an important thing. Oh my goodness, Dex Kalula, 10.6 seconds worth of time penalties at this stage of the race. That's going to be awful. So even though Kylula is up here near the front late in the event, it's not really going to benefit him very much with that much of a time penalty. Another driver to keep in mind is going to be F1R Geekin. Not only is he way back there in 13th, way away from the rest of the field, he has over 5.5 seconds of time penalties. Savage in 9th also has over 5 seconds worth of time penalties. Between your championship contenders, Pip Central is 2.5 seconds, Logan Suave only has 2.1 seconds, your leader Dex Carino has 1.7 seconds in time penalties, and Manuel Pedro, running in 3rd, is the only driver on track with no time penalties thus far. This could end up being a masterclass drive for Manuel Pedro. All right, we turn the look back to the intervals. Saying is Carino is rushing off in the distance, so it doesn't look like Pedro is going to be able to steal the win from Carino off the back of time penalties. But he can hold on to 2nd right now if he just keeps car rebuilds and car relamps behind him. But Pedro has to keep rebuilds, relamps, and Vinins behind him. Does he have the ability to do that, as he is currently running in 3rd position with no time penalties? This could be incredible, to say the least. An incredible drive by Pedro. Little Kid Suave still trying to keep Savage and Miniero behind them, but Savage and Miniero are still fighting between themselves as well. Big slide by Savage. This time he's not going to go off into the dirt this time, but Miniero is going to get to his outside. They both look to the inside of Suave, but Suave doesn't even react to them. He just continues to drive his normal line, holding on to what's currently 8th position on track right now. Carino has now opened up more than 2.5 seconds over Kylula. Big slide by Little Kid Suave. It brings Savage right up there. Savage dives and then backs out of the dive at the last moment. All of a sudden, Pip, IRT, Mando is right here in the middle of this fight as well. Manuel Pedro still runs in 3rd, trying to hold off a contingency of cars drivers, and he got to the inside of Kylula! Pedro's got to the inside of Kylula! Pedro now goes up to 2nd place on track, and Kylula slips down to 5th. Kylula fight side by side with relamps further back there, but Manuel Pedro holding on to 2nd spot. Big slide into the dirt there by Rebuilds, but he's still holding on to 3rd at the moment. Dex Carino now has nearly 3 seconds of a gap on Manuel Pedro. Question is, will his tires last? I do think Carino's tires should last the end. He is at 30% wear right now. We have about 5 laps. Yeah, 5 laps left. His tires will be hurting, but they will last to the end. Manuel Pedro once again being harassed by car rebuilds here for the 2nd position here on track. Little Kid Suave holds on to 8th right now. He's starting to pull away from Savage and Miniero. And Suave's rival, Pip Central, is down there in 12th. Oh, have we just lost Miniero? We may have lost Miniero. We have. And that's another driver that's dropped out now. We'll try to reach out to Miniero, see if he has anything he wants to say. So now we're down to just 13 drivers running. F1R Geekin, even with the soft tires, he's still 6 seconds off of Pip Central, who's currently last if everyone's still on track right now. Manuel Pedro more than 3 seconds out from Carino. So even though Pedro has no time penalties, it does not look like a win is in the cards for him, but he's going to have to put on the defensive masterclass against Rebuilds, Relamps, and Vinins, who are in 3rd, 4th, and 6th positions right now. Big thing to remember is that Kylula, right in 5th, has 10 seconds worth of time penalties against him right now. As it stands, that would plummet him down from 5th down to 11th at the moment. That would be a humongous hit for him. There's a reason why you do not want to get time penalties if you can help it, because all it takes is one yellow flag, and those time penalties become a millstone tied to your neck. Pedro should have a slight tire advantage over the cars around him to the end. But does he have the pace to make use of it? Rebuilds pulls up right behind Pedro once again. Gap is still 3 seconds in Carino's favor. So this is absolutely a fight for 2nd place on track. Rebuilds has a 2.1 second penalty. Relamps in 4th has 2.8 seconds of penalty. Vinnis in 6th has 3.2 seconds of penalty right now. And Pedro has none. Here comes a move. Rebuilds to the inside of Pedro as they come to the top of the mountain. Does Pedro try to push the issue? He's going to go the long way around, commit to the outside. No contact between the two of them, and Pedro with the outside line has more track to put the power down and gets back in front of Rebuilds as they come off the top of the mountain around this high-speed bend. Now Rebuilds looks to the outside. He's going to try and cross Pedro over on corner exit. Pedro does not seem to be disturbed by it at all. He continues to run his normal line. Rebuild's still right there behind Pedro. As they come back down the line here. The fight for second and third place on the podium, I think, may come down to not just tire life, but also time penalties. Because Pedro has no time penalties, and he should have tires that are 1 lap better than everyone behind him. F1R Geekin is just about to catch the rear of the grid. He must be so angry. He's got to be absolutely infuriated. He came in and pitted, which was the... Oh no, Pedro's got off! Pedro's got off! Pedro slid off, and now he's falling back to 5th position. Might even lose 6th down to Carl Vinnes. Big door bang, and Pedro falls from 2nd to 6th, just as we turn away. So now Rebuilds goes up into the 2nd spot on track with Relapse in 3rd and Kylula in 4th. But again, time penalties might still save this for Pedro. That, coupled with the fact that he does still have fresher tires, might be enough to put him back into a podium position here. But Rebuilds has to run like hell to try and hold on to his now inherited 2nd place on track. And the entirety of the KAR team has got to be absolutely infuriated. They've been running the top 5 all day long. It looks like at least 2 of them could still maybe finish in the top 5, but they know that they should have had the win. But Carino has snookered them on basically every single restart in this race. Carino maintains a 3.1 second lead over Car Rebuilds right now, although Rebuilds is now finally starting to eat into Carino's lead here. Looking at the penalties right now, Carino only has 1.7 seconds of penalty. Rebuilds has 2.1. So not only would Rebuilds have to catch Carino, he'd have to get ahead of him by 0.4 of a second here. As they come across the line, it is 3 laps to go. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see them catch and pass Carino with that much time left. Relapse is now up to 3.8 seconds of penalty. Kylula up to 13.2. Vinnes at 3.2 seconds of penalty. Manuel Pedro in 6th still has no time penalties right now. But Manuel Pedro has now slipped to 7.5 seconds out from the lead, so now I think a shot at the podium is gone for him because Rebuilds and Relapse can open up sheer pace, and that's a car into the inside wall. Was that Mini? Yes, Mini has had an accident coming out of turn number 3. No damage to the car, but he will go back to being a lap down. Geekin has gotten by Pip Central and Mando, so Geekin is making his way back up through the grid, but again, he does have all that time penalty as well. For Geekin, if he can just somehow salvage the top 10 out of it, that would be frustrating, but it would be better, I guess, than nothing. But Geekin arguably should have been up at the front fighting for the win here. Rebuilds has closed the gap down to about 2.9 seconds, but can't seem to get any closer than that. So the fight for the win definitely seems to be over. He is pulling away from Relapse. Kylula runs in 4th, but with how the time penalty that he has, it's not really going to matter. Manuel Pedro has caught Vinnes again, though. Again, Pedro has a slight tire advantage, is likely going to be pushing that over these last 2 laps to try and steal some positions back here to the end. He's right behind Vinnes. He dives to the inside, really deep under the run. Vinnes is going to try and cross him over on exit. Excellent crossover by Vinnes. Vinnes gets back into the 5th spot now. Matthews runs just behind him at the moment. How aggressive is Pedro going to be? Out of the final corner, and now down the front straightaway once again. It is 2 laps to go here at Kylami. Looking to the inside is Pedro on Vinnes. Side by side for what is 5th place on track. They both break at about the same point, but Pedro has the ideal inside line. Vinnes is going to try and cross him over. Can't keep it alongside of him as they go through the switchback. Pedro now moves up into the 5th spot. Kylula is about 2.5 seconds up the road, but Kylula has a massive amount of time penalties. I think for Pedro, he just wants to try and get as close to Rebuilds and Relapse as possible to maybe steal 3rd from them. I don't think 2nd is in the cards for him, but if Pedro can get right up to Kylula or nip him, he might still have enough of an advantage that he could, on penalty countbacks, get his way back into the podium positions. Rebuilt has closed the gap between himself and Carino down to 2.5 seconds, but with only a lap and a half left, that's just not enough time to do anything with it. F1 Geekin now makes his way by Savage. The next driver on his list will be Lil Kid Suave. Suave, your championship leader, runs in 8th position. He's got 47% wear on his tires. F1 Geekin, who runs in 9th right now, he's got the softer tires. He's at 50% wear though. So now Geekin's going to have a little bit of tire fall, will make it a little bit harder, but he's still the fastest driver on track right now. Real quickly, look at the tire life of our leaders, Dex Carino. As he comes to the last 2 corners, he's at 51% tire life right now. I look at Car Rebuilds, who runs in 2nd spot. He is at 53% tire life right now. Then you have Relamps back there in 3rd. He goes into the dirt. Not a great time there. He is at 53% tire wear as well. Dex Kalula, and although he's not going to be finishing in the top 10. He's at 51% tire life right now. And then Manuel Pedro, who had pitted a lap later, he's only at 49.9%. Nah, has he hit 50 yet? He's not hit 50 yet. Now he hits 50% tire wear. Only now has Manuel Pedro hit 50% tire wear. The white flag is out. This is the last lap here at Kylami. Geekin has already disposed of Lil Kid Suave, but it's about 5 seconds between himself and SPV Matthews, so it's unlikely that Geekin will be able to salvage his race any better than 8th. And remember, time penalties are still going to weigh against Geekin as well. Pedro sees Kalula, Relamps, and Rebuilds off in the distance, but whatever caused him to slide off circuit has basically robbed him of a chance of a podium, even though he's got better tire management, or better tire strategy, I should say, and better penalty management. That big slide off is going to cost him a shot at the podium. It looks like it's going to be Dex, Rebuilds, and Relamps coming home in the top 3 positions, and Pedro is going to have to settle with a 4th place finish on track here. Rebuilds is now hemorrhaging time to Carino here, as the tire life has gotten the better of Rebuilds. Now he's just going to try and limp the car home to the checkered flag on these burnt out tires. Just a few corners left here. Looks like Vinez and Matthew are having a bit of a fight for 6th and 7th right now. Matthews right behind Vinez. Matthews goes for a big dive to the inside of Vinez. Side by side out of the corner, and Matthews is going to get it. And as they come out of the final corner, he was robbed of a victory, denied a shot of victory last week at Bathurst. But at Kylami, the restart master is going to be Dex Carino. He is your winner at Kylami. Car Rebuilds will be 2nd. Relamps will be 3rd, while Kalula will be the 4th driver across the line. Time penalties not only gets Pedro by Kalula, Pedro got podium. Pedro snipped the 3rd place spot off of Relamps, off of time penalty countback. Matthews is going to come home in 5th position. Vinez will be 6th. Lil Kid Suave comes home 7th. I think that's best of all the full-time drivers. Geekin will have to settle with 8th. Kalula is going to be back in 9th. Savage will be 10th. Pip Central will have to settle for 11th. And Mando will be 12th. Mini, 1 lap down, will round out the field in 13th. And that is the end of the race here at Kylami. We're going to take a Twitch-mandated ad break, and when we come back, we'll try to talk to some of our top finishers here at Kylami. All right. Relamps, can you hear me? All right, awesome. In the Xbox party, there should be a little box to hit that will say "include my audio." Can you
Yes,
go ahead and hit that?
I'm included audio for the live this stream.
All right, awesome. Rebuilds, can you hear me? Are you also able to include your audio in the Xbox party?
Inclui o áudio, Rebuild.
Yeah. All right.
É só você no grupo do Xbox incluir meu áudio ali, onde você tá. É na cal que tu entrou, mano. Aí tem a opção incluir meu áudio lá em cima.
Oh, okay. Nice.
All right. Matthews, can you hear me?
Yes. Matheus?
Yeah, Matthews. Can you include your audio also?
É o tiquezinho lá em cima.
O Matheus incluiu o áudio ali na live. Alô?
Hello.
Incluir o áudio na live.
Isso.
Isso.
Lá em cima, o primeiro tiquezinho.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Kylami. Our race is over. We're going to talk with some of our top finishers here. I want to start with talking with Car Rebuilds. Rebuilds, great drive out there, but in the end, you were just a little bit short of the victory. What took the win away from you, in your perspective?
I think when the safety car started, got out of the way, it was Quirino, then Relams, then me. Then Quirino and Relams started fighting with each other, and I took the opportunity to stay out wide and try to do the apex long, but trying to get the first position. But then I don't know what happened, and I got took out. But yeah, at the end was a little bit of pace, a little bit of bad luck.
Well, it was still a fantastic drive, second place finish in what I believe is your first start in the series. I do have to ask, are you going to come back next week for the next race in the series?
I think I am.
All right, we'll be looking forward to you to come back. Who knows? Maybe you can get redemption from losing the victory here. Maybe next week will be the victory for you. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on you.
That's the goal.
All right, thanks for jumping in and talking with us, Rebuilds. And now I want to go ahead and talk to our fourth place finisher, Relamps. Relamps, you also spent a huge amount of time today out at the front of the field, but in the end, not only did you not get a fight for the win, you got the podium snatched from you. What in the world went wrong for you in today's race?
So, I think Manuel Pedro touched me in the final safety car and the safety car, and touched me and the rebuild. So, I think this is complicated my race and the race of the rebuild too, and not keep the victory today. But it was a good strategy. Good pace, but no, not good to qualify, but the pace was good. I think the next race week is better.
All right, we'll be looking forward to seeing what you can do next week. I will say it will be very interesting if all of a sudden the KAR guys are lining up first, second, third all the time going forward. It looks like Matthews left us just before we could start an interview with him. I'll try one more time to get him in here, but if it doesn't work, that may be all the interviews we get for today's event. Looks like Manuel Pedro and Carino have both decided not to jump in to do an interview here coming to the end. I'll check, but I don't think they have. Oh yeah, Pedro says he is not willing to interview because he does not speak English. Fair enough. And yeah, we've not heard anything from Carino similar to what happened last night. And yeah, it looks like Matthews is not jumping back in. So I do believe that's probably going to be it for our broadcast tonight. Once again, I do want to say thank you to Relamps and Rebuilds for jumping in and talking with us. Also, great job on Carino. He did not start up at the front. He started down in the 4th position, but ended up still taking the win by just being a master on the restarts. But still, pace really says that it is going to be the KAR drivers to keep an eye on going forward in the Porsche Cup. Coming to the party right now is Manuel Pedro. Uno momento, Pedro.
If you want, I can
He said it.
translate.
He said, Manuel Pedro not speaking English.
Yeah.
He's so bad.
Pedro, Espanol e Portuguese.
For him to speak in Portuguese.
Yeah, I don't know if he speaks Spanish or Portuguese. That's why I'm asking.
Portuguese.
Okay. You can. Do one of you guys speak Portuguese as well?
Yeah.
Can you tell Pedro?
Brazilian.
Yeah. Can you tell Pedro that he is free to say what he wants to about the race in Portuguese?
Ok. Manuel, se você quiser falar sobre a sua corrida em português mesmo, pode falar.
Vou traduzir aí. Bom, minha corrida se resumiu a estratégia e manter o pace. No início, minha estratégia era começar com médio e tentar manter o mínimo de distância para os pilotos da frente. O safety car na volta 18 atrapalhou bastante. Então eu tive que improvisar, acabei correndo de médio a corrida inteira, não consegui correr de macio. E no final esperei a brecha certa e consegui me encaixar nos pilotos da frente ali no meio da confusão. Depois daquilo foi tentar manter o pace, onde eu errei, perdendo meu P2 aí consagrado. E a partir disso foi só tentar manter o gap para não perder nas punições. Praticamente a corrida inteira foi tentar manter o pace e tentar não tomar punição. Foi o que me fez pegar o pódio aí. Thanks for the race. É isso.
That's it. Do you want me to translate it or
Translate, Rebuild.
I don't know?
Yes. Quero esperar.
Conhecido
Certo.
não pediu. Esperar ele pedir.
Só falar, mano. Então espera.
Insane? Are you there?
I accidentally muted myself. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Can you ask him one question for me? Just ask him, was it difficult keeping no time penalties throughout the race?
Ele tá perguntando, Manuel, se foi difícil manter 100 penalidades durante toda a corrida.
Foi muito difícil manter sem penalidade, principalmente para tentar acompanhar a galera. E a galera tomando penal, querendo não conseguir abrir tempo para mim. Mas sabendo que tinha safety car, eu sempre tentei me manter ali. E quando saía da pista, eu sempre tirava o pé para não tomar penal. Quando eu vi o penal se acumulando nos outros pilotos, eu me liguei que seria uma boa.
Muito bom.
How's this? I'm gonna try saying one thing here. One sec.
Obrigado por conversar conosco.
Obrigado por conversar conosco. I probably absolutely butchered it. But
Thanks.
thanks.
Good Portuguese.
All right. Well, that is our word from both our second place, third place, and fourth place drivers here at Kylami. And with that in mind, we can wrap up our broadcast. Thanks everyone for joining us. Tomorrow night will be another race at Kylami, but that will be the main X League event. The GT3 Cup will be a similarly long race. Could be a little bit cleaner, might be a little bit messier. We will likely be looking at different strategy playouts as well. Definitely join us tomorrow night for the X League race in the GT3 category. Until then, I've been your host for today's broadcast. I've been your host for today's broadcast, Insanely 13. Thank you very much for joining us. Farewell and goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.